And without delays this time. Or latency. That was the issue with the last one. At least, so far as I can tell, there might be delays still. Was not expecting that to work as well as it does. Add gray lines. That easy. Is it bot? I think this might be bot. Shua Nazareth. Yeah, I don't know. Very strange. There isn't latency this time. Yeah. Not sure what's up with my streams getting botted. That's very amusing to me. But yes, there's no latency this time. A very low latency. Mr. Nick. I remember it being a very contentious thing. It has since been fixed. And thank me later. And because this design is very experimental, I don't have an established style to work with it. So I am having a lot of fun experimenting. I mean, I always have fun painting, but like, this is very experimental in nature. Not to mention because because it's been so long in between these segments or sessions where I was actually painting, I can't follow through with the style even if I wanted to, so there is that. Why didn't you just tell me in chat? One that you just sent that message in? But I suppose the thing you just sent me will suffice as well. Okay, well, what I meant was, you just sent a message, right? Like, I'm reading it, you're confused. That is what I'm talking about. I've since changed my mind, because, I mean, that's not gonna work out, clearly. But yes, we're on the same page. Though now that I'm painting this, I want to continue painting this. I'm sure you understand. It is simply easier to continue painting something that you are painting. It's actually a somewhat underrated advice, I would say, to try and remain consistent with what you're painting at a given time, because it simply makes it easier to keep in mind certain patterns and such that you've been using. Or at least that's my take on it. Which texture is what? Camo 2 scaled all the way up. As opposed to what? Discord stream, maybe? They're kinda lame, though. Don't even automatically record. Very sad. Well, dev streams are different. For this, I'm largely doing commission work and personal work, which is what this currently is personal work. Because this ship was not as pretty as it must be. I didn't paint Tetrax on a dev stream. That was just me vibing in the Discord. I'm not sure. To tell you the truth, shockingly, I'm not actually very experienced in this whole YouTube business. So I could not tell you if I just don't know, is what I'm trying to say. Anthrax with the save. I've considered actually making my own Discord. Well, another one anyway. For sake of telling people when I'm streaming, or setting up a stream schedule. But, I mean, I don't want to, like, maintain that if nobody's gonna show up, so I have yet to actually do it. because moderating discords is tiresome. I mean, I suppose I could, but I mean, it would be for the sake of setting up like consistent viewing times, not necessarily for people to talk in and because, I mean, dealing with people, it's just such a hassle. Exhausting, I must say. Let's see if I can remember that I have... Yes, I do. I have the glorious decap. That's so satisfying to have. I don't keep as up to date with it, but as far as I'm aware, Twitch did an oopsie and made it so that they cut like the revenue of everybody involved in half. I personally just like YouTube more as well. Like that's a part that has to be considered, is that I'm very biased. But you see, you go through the engine rooms. This ship is very cursed, like in case that wasn't clear. It's like the 2 deck cannons in the back, the sideways cannons in the front. I think one of the worst parts is that this ship is still like very good. You see the, this is my ship. I built this ship. So the thing about the deck cannons is that they are better when they're closer to opponents. And because of how the shields are set up, they actually protect the deck cannons, as you can see. Streaming on YouTube and Twitch is against Twitch's terms of service, I'm pretty sure. And I mean, as much as I'm not a fan of Twitch, I'm not gonna just like mess around, because like I might change my mind one day. Can you imagine trying to read 2 chats though? I've always been a fan of railfans. I'm very good at using railfans, but they're kind of bad. Because I mean, well, they're kind of bad. I do love traps, but those are essentially avoiders. Well, flankers. Avoiders, but times 2. Well, in terms of like VODs, I'm pretty sure Twitch doesn't like care at all. In fact, I think it's the basis for several different content channels. So the thing is that railfans by comparison to all their alternatives, are bad. I mean, that will always be the case just by virtue of like players versus a computer. A player, for the most part, will always be significantly scarier than a computer. But yeah, railfans, your ones are just bad. It's like, that isn't even a question. Especially when you start comparing them to their alternatives. Because a TB rail can flip things, can dodge nukes. A railfan's just kind of stuck, is just gonna kind of take it. A rail spinner is a lot tankier, has more damage. A rail kite, which is probably the closest comparison, is going to just be a lot better because it can keep out of range and such. Railfans are just kind of bad, unfortunately. And I mean, they can be used. The can typically doesn't mean should. Ah, yes, ions. Ions are definitely very fun as well. We will say that typically the ships I like require piloting in interesting ways, which is why I'm not a big fan of spinners, and I'm not a big fan of missile orbiters or rammer walls as all examples, because with those you just kind of fly forward and win, and that is not what I like to do. And spinners are like, you take the piloting out entirely. Like, it's not for me. Part of the reason that avoiders are my preferred method of destruction of my opponents is because they're very difficult to pilot. To the point that people consider their effectiveness and validity as an option in PvP because of how difficult they are to pilot. And that's just my jam. It's like, just in general, my typical archetype is very much like mastery. It's like, I do the dex builds in Souls games. I don't like this section. Why would you not have thought of me being a Souls-like fan? Kinda strange. No, Bloodborne is one of my favorite games, and I'm of the opinion it's one of the best games out there. I actually liked Bloodborne more than Elden Ring. Like, it left a much stronger, much more striking impact on me. I don't think people typically appreciate that particular take, though, of Bloodborne being better than Elden Ring. But it is my take nonetheless. Ah, yes, the ice element. Are you doing all of the puzzles or side quests? I'm not sure what ship you're referring to, so I can't answer that question. The harp, is that the one with the TV? Like the TV wall that you kept trying to use? I mean, tell you what, it's unique. I'll give it that much. However, it is not good, I must say. But yeah, find a pilot. That's arguably what matters most. But the thing is, it's just like, it's not good. The only reason that people were struggling against it is because it was a teams match and time to kill mattered. And I mean, it's good at stalling, but in a 1v1, it's not gonna go anywhere. And if you're like saying it's good in a specific circumstance, it's like, okay, why don't you use a TB rail if you're using specific circumstance or a rail orbiter? Since those are objectively superior for teams, you know. Well, naturally, everybody wins some battles with something. I don't mean it's good though. See, the part of being good at the game is turning can win to will win, you know. And like, you are completely correct that your ship can win. But like, all ships can win. I don't mean to slander your ship too much, mind you. It's just like, it's not good though. Really, that's a shocking development. I would not have expected that. So happy to have this. I don't know. They're interesting, I'll say that much, but they don't seem particularly good to me given the stats and how long it takes for you to warm up. If it was domination, then yes, they will definitely be used because there is an actual battlefield taking place. Very cool. Do you have any other Discord names that I might be more aware of? I have to apologize in that I don't know who you are, if you are someone. Mr. Demozen Angelic Squad. Valve. Haven't heard that name before. I mean, can't call someone a veteran interior builder if they're not good at the game, can you? Would be a bit silly. Yes. You were able to create frames of the ship's wreck. Probably. I haven't kept up to date, so my information is probably not as good as it once was in terms of knowing everything off the top of my head. Yeah, that's the strangest thing. Vowels sound like a very familiar name, but it's not one I can place. Why would you bring them up? Okay, so the thing is that avoiders are not good at manipulating their opponents. Like, I can get people to get stuck on rocks because I ram them, but mostly I'm turning them once so that they are landing on the rock, and then since they're paying attention to me, they fly themselves into it. The thing about tractor beams is it's about math. See, you are trying to leverage your thrust against their thrust, and the thing about avoiders is that they have low thrust in one direction, comparatively. They win by working with their thrust advantage. And the thing is that avoiders cannot turn strafe into raw power. So no, I have never once considered that because it would not work. My opinion on TBs is that if you're not using them for your win condition, you're not using them effectively. Because TVs are very expensive, both in, the sheer cost on top of the crew and energy requirements. They're not something that you can just strap on. And the thing about my ship is that my ships are that they are very tight in cost. You don't typically have like much room to go around banding about because once you become experienced with building a certain type of ship, you start being able to like accurately assess how much you can get away with, and because of that I don't have spare costs that I would then just strap on. I mean, of course it's annoying. It couldn't not be annoying. Oh, Vals, I guess. How are you today? I mean, most people have. Game is not as lively as it once was, perhaps. Though I will mention that I am serious, not One Eye, in case you were wondering. One Eye actually revealed his voice some while ago, so you could tell from that, I suppose. Though I mean, maybe One Eye's just really good at modulating his voice. I mean, we've never been in the same room together. I could very much be One Eye, and you would have never known. Not a fan of this segment. Gonna be messy to set up, I'm sure. How do you ram someone with a weapon that has two stages, one of which where it must stop moving and then launch? I mean, you can, but the thing is, if you're ramming someone, then you're pushing someone forward, and because you're ramming someone, your forward momentum has been shot. So it's not, I don't know, it's very clearly things work. If things work, they will spread, and based on the occurrence of nuke rammers, very clearly something has gone awry. I welcome you to make it and to get back to me on your findings. That's nukes, all right. Technically, mines have a higher DPS, actually. It's just that they don't hit. Require interesting luck to have them all hit, let's just say. For all the projectiles and such. Pro tip right here, you can use fades and put it on the corners like that to make a block seem less solid, because it is just generally darker and now seems as though there is less prominence to it, which helps put it on a lower layer, which I want it to seem as if these segments are very large and prominent, which I can further assist in happening by doing this. Having it cut into this section. I like that as well. Do all that. Always worth bearing in mind to just keep it simple, and sometimes that just works out. The old tricks are the best tricks, after all. I kinda like the shape of these spikes, or for these two. Let's see what happens if I repeat. Very good, I would say. At least I think so. It's kind of amusing how building your own ship can let you be lazier in a certain sense. Because there's not a paying customer, you don't have to worry about disappointing someone. Best of luck with your TB avoider, friend. It's not gonna work out. Unfortunately, quite confident. Not to stop you, not to stop you. But don't get your hopes up is all I'm saying. Not get your hopes up. Very big mistake to make. With all due respect. Not really. There is often a reason I'm not using mirror mode, but in this circumstance, no, there is not a reason. Good question, though. I often find that it is good to have manually be placing all this stuff down, because it gives you time to consider all of it and make sure you're happy with how it is. Additionally, just Just part of my process, I would say. Whereas it is nice to just reassess everything, make sure it looks nice. This section, I'm not too sure about it. Now, because I've copied everything over, I can try. Not that. I can try this, maybe. I must say, demos and I'm not sure who you're regaling these tales to, because I'm certainly not paying attention. I hope it's not me. Oh, missed that. Looking pretty good, I would say. I am certainly appreciating the appearance of this ship. I think it's turning out quite nicely. That is certainly one of the prices ever. Would not recommend ships that expensive. I swear, is this gonna be the first person that's lost a marigold? Do you realize I will have to tell the author if you lose to it, right? Just like required to. The dev team did not think it could happen. As a Model S own, you are, fortunately, I don't even know. I don't even know how to respond to that. When I still around? We might have to nerf Marigold. One of the most skill issues that ever did skill issue, gonna be honest. Reactors can be so finicky sometimes. We like this pattern though, that's a very good pattern. I should probably reproduce it. This could be like the faction logo or something. An iconic symbol, really. The one on the reactor. Which you can't really see zoomed out, but is pretty good, I would say. Ay, ay, ay. Not my fault Walt took so long to add that. Yes, nukes are kind of scary that way. They kind of just hurt you if you're not careful. That is one of the reasons that nuke ships you typically see are so fast, I would say, is so that they can actually get away from the nukes. With modded armor, you still lost to the Marigold. Oh my. This is one of the events ever. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's just like, it's a lot more hassle than it is worth, you know? You're giving him advice, he's clearly beyond help. I mean, it's the Marigold. Can't come back from that. I see that the skill issues are plentiful today. Very interesting. I'm not sure about if I like this arrangement or not, but I think it's very unique. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the shields if I do this though. Goodbye, Nick. A pleasure as always. I'm pretty sure that 4-point defense should still not be able to bring down a shield on Grand Admiral. Okay, so let's see. So let's assume 6-point defense, which is technically more damage expected. So 6 is 1,000, 1,100, 3,150. Okay, so 3,150. Well, I'm not sure how much a small shield can actually regenerate. So, under the basis that you were, yes, it does. You still maintain that you have a skill issue. Just how it is. Nobody knows. I certainly don't. all the best ships are. Is a difficult thing to set up such that it's not weird looking. As such, I'm struggling with it. I was not looking forward to how I was going to put up the deck cannon paint, because I knew it was going to be an issue. That looks nice, I think. Hmm. I don't typically use this pattern because it looks really weird, but it might work under the ship. I certainly know that this one isn't gonna work. I don't like it. But I don't think that that's much better. That is... I don't know, not even worth dignifying with a response. Yeah, I'm not sure how to feel about that one. Not a fan. Not a fan. It is one of the ships. Alright, I like this segment arrangement. Issue is I'm not sure how to merge this section in the deck cannon. See, something I find that is good to be doing near ships is to make the armor sections look armored. Because it just helps give it a sense of solidity and consistency. I don't have a decal for this. Ay ay ay. How dreadful. do have a decal for this. Not a fan of how that kind of goes, but I mean, it's better than how it was before, which was not working whatsoever. The ship is somewhat bizarre in paint now too. It's already bizarre in structure. But I think with that front section, how it's painted, it is now definitely bizarre there as well. But what's not to love? It's part of the appeal, perhaps. Be as strange as possible. I can't remember where I put my decals. You would think that you would have better memory, having painted, like, extensively. Nope, not me. Forget what colors are. Expert painter, by the way. I know what I'm doing. Exclamation mark. Still may be somewhat sick. And that may be making me a little bit loopy, but I mean, not as if that's very much different from my usual demeanor. I've ever heard this theme before. Very cool. Always a big fan of the deep, heavy instruments. I mean, of course I've heard this theme before because it's this theme, it plays constantly. But this particular instrument section anyway. I never much cared, especially for the Cosmoteer music. The days of launch and such, chose to play my own music instead. It was a little bit surreal because like you have all these people that are like praising it. It's like, this is fantastic music. It's like, is it? Like, it's good, don't get me wrong. But is it great? Like, I think that great music has the distinction of you're willing to listen to it outside of the game. And although it is good for the game, it is not something that I have downloaded and listened to on my phone, as an example. As such. Okay, but I like this part. Probably have to listen specifically to the struggle versions, I think. Not the right one. Yeah. There you go. Box. I recommend the box tool over the select tool, by the way. Box tool is far superior. Everybody collects the steel plates. Everybody loves the steel plates. I think that asymmetry suits it better. Well, yeah, the seamless transitions are definitely the highlight of the music, I would say. Like, don't get me wrong, it definitely has merit. That is not without question. Or, I mean, that is without question. Ooh. You know, I should probably have had a ship just in the background shooting at stuff this entire time, I guess, since this is kind of lovely. I much prefer this sort of thing. A more active music. Ah, Vilda. So thankful for those. Half-width fades are some of the best in the entire game, gonna be honest. You are missing out. imagine it would work. I would not expect tractor beams to set that off, though. I'm not a fan of this middle segment. It is a little bit rough. Well, currently these deck cannons are actually targeting the ship's reactor. Let's not turn them back on, by the way. And as such, it is... technically in combat. It is a very technically though. Yeah, let's do this. Really? It hasn't changed? I am not capable of telling. What I would ideally have is something that tells me what music is playing. Like, I just can't figure out which songs are what, and as such, it's... I feel like more games need that. Katana Zero is one of the only games that I am aware of that actively does that. But I mean, Katana Zero is already like exceptional in every way, so not a shocking surprise there. As does Valhalla, though that is probably more niche. Though I do love that game. Great game. Fantastic. Let's get to the shields, which I've been intentionally avoiding. Oh my, they still fire. Not ideal. No. Ah yes, this is looking much better. I set these cannons to fire at the reactor, and I told them to not fire at the reactor. And they, being the silly heads that they are, I guess, decided to fire anyways. So that's what that was. Shift V. I'll try to keep that in mind, but I'm not good with hotkeys. Which, I mean, should probably have... I mean, I imagine one would probably pick up on from the total lack of me doing it with the paint. Ah, yeah. Gonna be good. Not gonna be good, this. Hotkeys are like nice, but they always take so much to learn, you know? At least for me. It's like ultimately, it's like why would you bother with hotkeys when you could just be playing the game, you know? And then you never learn them. Oh, funny thing, you can just use letters to get all sorts of random shenanigans. Good way to just randomly get extra texture and such. With irreproducible shapes. I'm tempted to just put S, despite it very clearly being an S. Or Ceres, of course. Oh, the O option range, I must say. What are your thoughts on this? Looks a little bit noisy. I'm gonna go with those for the time being. Not happy about it. So the issue with that particular section It makes it look like there's not much mass there, so I want to do this to try and account for there being the overlapping issue. That looks much better, I would say. I also love looking at these like silhouette areas because it's like this is the like you get to see everything that you just worked on, you know. You know, you might have more success with people listening to your stories on the main Discord, by the way. Because I'm not reading them anyway. Alright, keep at it then. More power to you, I suppose. Here we go. That was like good. It is of course the downside of having copied and pasted like such is that it looks a bit strange if you don't do something properly. And then it's largely unknown why. Missing anything? Could be. Alright, very cool. Very cool. I'm happy with it. I would probably be revising this around 4 more times if it was commission work. Fortunately, or unfortunately for me, it is not though, so here's that. Let's see. It's time for Anthrax. Still around, Mr. Anthrax. Not recentered. Ay, Anthrax. Not recentered. Gonna have to dock points. Centered, unacceptable. This is a temporary thing, so I can position it where I want it. Did what in one of your runs? Okay, so I forget why, or what the proper thing was that you wanted. Pretty sure it was specific flag. But I mean, if you're doing Tron, well, I don't know. You know what, I'm just gonna get a green and red texture. How's that? I would say get a job, but this is my job. So, I don't know. I don't know exactly. I'm not in a similarly good position. Green, black, white. With the, with Vermilion paint scheme, it would probably be best if it's green and red. With black, of course. So I'm trying to get a proper color scheme reference. See what your thoughts are. That link. That's a pretty good one. Do you want 2 greens or 2 reds? That one. Currently sending links to Anthrax of pretty colors. And you see Anthrax, the reason I'm sending you the links is because you can directly copy them into the game. With shenanigans involved, but you can directly copy them into the game. And as such, if there's a particular set of colors that you or I like, it is exceedingly possible to directly just put them into the game. I'm gonna keep sending them to you until you respond, so good luck with that. I shall. You need an external editing program, however. Fiery reds? Fiery reds, I'm not sure I have any of those saved on. Though I did post more examples since you said that. Or around since you said that. I think I painted somebody for someone else that was. It's probably this, and this isn't exactly green and red. That's blue and pink. So it's off blue and off pink. What are your thoughts on this one? So I imagine you want 2 reds. Anthrax, I'm talking to you. A bit loud though. Let's see. Okay, so we found a reference picture based on what you've said you liked, which is Paint Me an 80s Picture by Joseph Barton on ArtStation. Anyways, so the first thing you do is I personally open that up. Yes. I mean, I'm using the in-game music. I would be skipping this song because I'm not the biggest fan. Anyways, so I'm doing a copy trick. So I prefer paint.net. Let's see. Thank you. See if that works. So, I mean, I don't know if you can see it or not. So, I like to distort it and crystallize it because that makes it so it's, you know, a nice set of pictures. But that's not working. So go back to Cosmoteer, I guess. So open paint.net, copy the image, and paste it into paint.net, and then you have a very nice selection of colors. And so you see that gives you much room to work with. Yeah, that's exactly it. The issue I'm having is I want to select the right one. So copy the hex code. Paste the hex code. Now I do something slightly less saturated, something a little bit darker. And there we go. Now we have our reds. I pasted those in the wrong ones. So, now we need a green, which there wasn't very much of. I might use yellow instead, but I mean, green's good. Green is what you asked for, so green, and copy this, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little bit dark. So, I mean, work with it. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. And then we want to get the darkest green for the darkest color, which is the overlayer, because I'm doing Cabal-esque paint here. Green into red fades? Oh. It fades. Not sure how well that's gonna work out, Anthrax. That's certainly distinctive. What are your thoughts? Brighter. A little bit more intense, I suppose. Anthrax, I'm talking to you. You mean like greener, like less blue? How's that? Hmm. Alrighty. So what do you want the highlight color to be then? White, I think? Hmm. Then I need a new darkest color. This. So, you told me to just do what I was gonna do, and you're gonna be happy with it, so I'm gonna mostly carry through with that. Tell me if you like something, tell me if you don't like something, etc. I'm sure you know the drill, really. Apparently, just seeing what sticks. Oh, I meant like paint. But yes, I mean, you are correct that the paint can just be tweaked at a later date. I don't know. Bye-bye. No kidding. Despite what he was saying, I do not recognize him in the slightest. He didn't know me to a degree. He definitely knew One Eye. Not the faintest who that was, though. It's funny how people are before the game went into modern. It gets a strange sensation. Anthrax, do you want the ship to have extra lock details like this where it goes off of the ship? Or are you good? Because typically it is better to be consistent no matter what you choose. Alrighty. How heavily do you want fades to be used? Because, like, I can go real berserk if you want. Still painting ships. Yes. What the stream's for, I mean, what else would I be doing? I don't know, I'm not as bad, not as sick. So take that for what you will. Alright, so I mean, if you have any issues, it's better to voice them now than later, Anthrax. Because it gets harder to fix them later. Which, I mean, I'll still fix them. I guess there's no reason for you to not say anything, but it's... for posterity's sake, this is Anthrax's ship that I'm painting. That's why I'm asking him the questions. Well, I certainly try my best to make sure people get their money's worth. I like to think so, anyway. Maybe someday I'll get a mob of angry customers. That'll just be the end. I haven't done anything like this before. Technically, that's just the price calculations for how I, make things cost. Technically, it's below that because you can just repeatedly, copy-paste certain segments over and over. So it's a lower quality paint job, but I mean, gets the job done. Also, Antrax, I thought that you just used the same blue paint scheme for everything. Like, no slander intended, but I was not aware that you gave more thought to that, because I do not recall seeing anything more than that. Oh, I'm speaking from a strictly, like, technical basis, Fusion, or Nick. A ship can look nice, but be of low quality, and vice versa, I would say. I mean, I haven't been playing recently. It's like, I don't know, it just didn't feel like it. There's other games to be played and enjoyed these days, I'm of the opinion. And, I mean, it's kind of unfortunate that there's just, like, nobody, like... Oh yeah, you use the built-ins. I got to the end of Other Side. Unfortunately, I can't recommend it because it is something of an unpolished mess at times. But it is a very cool game. I'm not sure what I'm going to be playing next. Make sure to inform you when I do, though. Anthrax, left side or right side in terms of these white lines right here? Yes, that is what that is. And I mean, the strategy game is a lot of fun. The issue starts getting involved when you have moves that just don't do as they're described, or when things are balanced interestingly. No, they're not. Look at this top left edge. It's fades, whereas this one is solid lines. And I mean, for this one, I would probably go off the edge, but you said to not do that, so I'm leaving it as such. They look the same. Philistine. The balance is also a little bit of an issue, Olgak, because it's basically XCOM in terms of like the gameplay, and essentially you have moves that can move your units up or down the timeline. And the thing is that you can move yourself up or down the timeline. And those are the best abilities in the game and the best units in the game. But the issue comes when your opponents do that, where a single unit can move one of your units down the timeline and move one of their units up the timeline, a single turn of which can often shatter like the balance and like just outright end the mission. Like by itself. So, I mean, it's not a game that I would recommend, like, without heavily going into details of all the things wrong with it, even if it is fantastic. Past that, the next game I've been interested in for a while now would be Ultra Kill or Anno Mutationum. And Anno Mutationum is a recent one that just looks very cool. I mean, based on my preference for synth and such, Anno Mutationum is probably going to be like very obviously something that would appeal to Ceres. I don't know. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it's spelled off the top of my head. I don't remember for sure. Any comments or notes, Anthrax? I think it ended up being more watermelon than chili pepper. Kind of reminds me of the Hyperlight Drifter color scheme. If you're familiar. Goodbye for the second time, Mr. Nick. I'm painting Anthrax's ship. And it is coming along, I would say. Let's see, just because I'm curious. Yeah, that pops. I am a fan of that. Red and cyan is just a divine color combination. Alright, saturation is so much fun. Just makes it look bluer. Yeah, that works. The issue with making it cyan is that there's already green. Getting involved, so it's gonna be a little bit weird. So I mean, it's already gonna be a bit weird, because I mean, red into green phase is a very strange thing. Or was it green into red phase? Anthrax. What do you mean doesn't matter? Freaking punk, doesn't matter. I'm not appreciative. That is not a gentle mix. I was joking, as I'm not like actually offended or anything. I just thought it amusing. Doesn't matter. What do you mean? See, my personality is that of a jester. I must always remember this. No. This is certainly one of the more unique color combinations I've seen somebody request. Have that moniker if you want it. What are your thoughts, Anthrax? Are on the side of simplicity or complexity? Oh. I'm gonna just go with this for now because I like it more. If you say anything, I'll fix it. Actually, I can just leave that there. I can fix it. Oh, okay. That is the correct choice. I have a bizarre pattern, but Mr. Olgak, what has your experience been with CrossCode as of late? I think I said your name right, but knowing me. The game is super funny too. One of the funniest games I've played, I think. Not one of the main selling points, I think, but it's like, it's ridiculous. It is a large sheet, isn't it? I can recommend you take specific actions, but I can also not, because there's, I mean... because it's like spoilers or whatever. So if you want recommendations, then I can give those. I'll see, the issue with Cyan Anthrax is that it's gonna like be contesting the green, so I would need to change it to 2 reds, I would say. Which, I mean, was my initial plan. Do you want me to be using these sloped fades or just more regular ones, would you say? Okay. Yeah, I actually made like pictures, electronic pictures, to try and catalog what my choices were for building my character in Crosscode. It wasn't, I don't think much came from it, but it was a delightful experience nonetheless. Imperium ships don't actually typically have white. Alright, so what are your thoughts on this? I personally am definitely liking the left one more. With all the colors that are clashing on this right one, I don't think it works super well. Hold your horses a second, I want to try something. Worth mentioning that this is why you typically listen. Said it wasn't going to work and I was right. It is my curse. Or something. I can also do something such as this. No. Red needs to be a little bit darker. Okay. So essentially this is just an inverse of that, this right one, left one. By making it blue, it actually... No, I actually have an eye condition where dark blues are very close to black for me. So is this darker than black? Because I'm pretty sure it's darker than black, but like speaking from experience, I don't actually know. You limit yourself to one color scheme? How dreadful. I mean, technically this is just black. Oh, nice. We're working with the delay. I kind of like this one more, but that could just be because I've been with it longer. Or been working with it for longer. So, I mean, it's easy enough to send you both versions after the fact. That's true. I'm inclined to agree, I would say. Colors are fun. I like colors. I actually have a thread in Off Topic where I regularly just post colors. And it's actually where I found the majority of the images I sent you, Anthrax. No, not the majority. It is where I found all the images that I sent you. So, it may be interesting for you or Olgak to go and visit that if you are interested. I am not one for subtlety. Give me a second. It's probably easier to just ping you. Good. Or have you seen them as well? I did not think that those were very popular. Metabot? Your name is shifting, buddy. That is instantly a lot of noise. Interesting. But yeah, you guys should post there all the time because I like looking at what other people find cool. So I mean, there must always be balance because like you can't appreciate one without the other. But that being said, I have lived in like scrub desert nightmare land for all of my life where it is basically nothing but washed out colors. So I am constantly surrounded with samples of that I can then compare against and not prefer. Left or right, Anthrax? Yes. Yep. Ooh, have either of you played Star Sector? Well, I'm assuming that there's basically only Anthrax and Olgag at this point. There's 2 extra people, but I'm not sure who they are. Have you played Star Sector? Star Sector is the very best single-player space game. Like, without compare, like, I would say that Cosmoteer falls very much short compared to Star Sector in terms of single-player. Well, Star Sector is... it's one of the best games ever. And that is not something I say lightly. I know. I'm fully aware of, like, the grandiosity of that statement. And as Bradley Yang, which is the other person, one of the 2 people that was lurking apparently, agrees with me. Thank you, Bradley. I appreciate that. And for the most part, if you're not interested in the multiplayer experience, which is the one bonus Cosmoteer has over Star Sector, I would recommend Star Sector for your average person. Very controversial, I know. AI control rooms. They're a disaster. They're always a disaster. That'll have to do. Hmm. I unfortunately have had Star Wars become so bad in my mind that to play a game is like a parody, is like a joke. Like, that's a joke with how unlikely it is. Because to tell you the truth, I am a fan of the concept of Star Wars. And really the only things that have delivered have been Rogue One and Andor. So I fully think that if I were to ever to try and play a game, it would be a miserable experience. Oh, it is not on Steam. You have to go to a very old website and get it manually. And get a CD key. it was good for 3 episodes, and then like the guy started talking 8 times as much, and then I was sick of it. And it just turned into every tropey, boring Star Wars schlock that there is. I did really enjoy Andor though. Andor was something that I was actually watching for its own sake. Or ended up watching for its own sake, not just because it was like dragging the Star Wars name behind it, kicking and screaming. It had merit in its own right. Unironically, fortunately. Ay, poor Star Wars. It's too popular for its own good. It was fantastic. I loved it. Skarsgård was, you know, truly divine as always. I really loved his speech near the end of it. Yes, one way out. So that was a different guy. It actually made it gave reason to fight the Empire. It's like the Empire is very much not an idle problem that is just like doping around and like occasionally blows up a planet as a joke. And that was it was good. It was like for once Star Wars was good. I mean, I did like Rogue One, but I feel like that's more contentious among people. Always. Always. Might have to take issue with that statement. Made the sin of having bad taste. Alright, have a nice day, Theta. Or Thetas. One of the names ever. I mean, you're the person who put the Z's there, my friend. I'm only respecting what you apparently wanted. I copy pasted sections. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, so have I. Like, I've always loved the idea of Star Wars. It's like, it's basically a space western, you know? Where it's like, you're fighting the big bad, like, the corporatization of the galaxy. And it's like, what's not to love about that? Everybody loves that. The issue was the execution, and it becoming, like, over time, what it was supposed to be about resisting. I recommend the TV show Firefly, if you're interested in more of that sort of thing, by the way. Okay, well, even if Mandalorian was a Western, it didn't have substance. Of Firefly? Hmm. Well, that's the thing, is like, if a show must rely on its external references, then I am not of the opinion that it is a good show. If, like, it requires to say, hey, look at this thing, you know this thing, you like this thing. It's like, why am I even watching the show? It's like, why are you not just watching the thing that it's referencing instead? I'm very picky when it comes to the things I watch because there's so much media out there that to give yourself mediocre things is to punish yourself. There's so many things that you could be watching and you're watching this. It's like, what? It's philosophically, I am opposed to it. I did not just not like Mandalorian, it was bad. And I must tell the world of this so they do not suffer the same mistake. Suffer the same as I did. I'm a well-adjusted human, by the way. You needn't worry about that. Well, normally I have this neat trick where I can do this sort of thing. And that's like the very typical Cabal affair. But because of the fact that I'm using these long strips, then I guess I need to better handle it by splitting it up into sections, I imagine. Yes, pro tip kids, if something is just not working out, then just split it into multiple segments. So, I mean, I personally am a fan of the stripe because, I mean, it's supposed to be armor. And as such, it being one single cohesive thing makes sense. So now that this is actually done, it's grown on me. The next thing to do is to see if you want the cyan stripe in between. Anthrax, I'm waiting for you. Bond. Yeah, you were accurate in your assessment. Which is why I fixed it without saying anything. Because, like, clearly I agree with you. If I had issue with your statement, then I would have not done anything. I would have talked a lot about it like I'm doing so now. The stripe on this armor, in between the armor. Yeah, I thought it was better, but it's still kind of iffy. That's what I was thinking, but I just wanted to confirm, because sometimes people like that sort of thing, and it breaks up the armor. I think that this is one of the best paint jobs I've done in recent times. This looks awesome. Big fan. Big fan. Good, canvas that you've given me, Anthrax. Okay. What is this? Anthrax, I expected better from you. For real? Like, a railgun would go directly down. Like, directly through this armor. As, like, it misses these. I promise you, this will matter in 2 games out of thousands. I'm gonna do this anyways. You can undo it if you want. 2 games out of thousands that you could have won, Anthrax. Consider it. Different greens? What's wrong with the cyan? I mean, I posted all those pictures, so if you respond to one that you like more in terms of the greens, then you can, highlight that on Discord. I mean, I could, but that would come at the cost of something else. Or, I guess it wouldn't. Well, see, this is part of a 3-ship. This is 1/3 of a 3-part ship, so, I mean, there is that to consider. Ah. Well, yeah, but I mean, I still told you to, like, pick a good picture or such to serve as a reference model. For proper greens and such. I don't know, I really like the cyan as it currently is. And typically when that happens, I am not as willing to change it. What are your thoughts on this section, Anthrax? Add the extra line on the bottom or not? Yes, I know. I've said this multiple times. Alright. I guess if you're not gonna pick the colors, I'll see what I can do myself then, of different greens. those look way different in the... Let's see. They're technically blue, but whatever. Now I suppose this one has a different red that if I were to actually put down would make it look a lot better. Because the red is not how it's always supposed to be. Like with this orange. Ooh. Ooh, that is divine. So that's based on All Zombies Now by Dominic Mayer, one of my favorite artists. But that is not what we were looking for, because that's not green. Next thing I'm going to try is Another Tree by Roman Asvayenko. Stream's not having issues. Nobody's responding. Okay, well. I see how it is. it's fine. Not. Imagine if I was actually upset. What a joke. It's a really good one. There's an image I've accidentally posted twice because I like it so much in the colors channel, which I was now looking for. Because it's just great, you know. I have a fascination with, like, colors that aren't brown and dusty yellow, because, you know, that's where I live. It's nothing but that. Alright. And it is Mountains and Oceans by Andreas Roca. That's a good one. I'll try that one next. I mean, yeah, I'm a big fan of the Colors channel personally. Though, I mean, I am the one that posts everything there, so... Oof. It is a oofers. What are your thoughts on this Insectine green and brown? I mean, it's green. Can't say it's not green. Oh, that is a very pleasant green. One of my favorite pictures. The one I'm basing this off of. A nice, icy sky blue. Yeah, I mean, it is one of the best color combinations out there, I'm of the opinion. I didn't expect you to actually like this one. It's just I was seeing what your thoughts on the the green were. Awful orange. I mean, it's a good combination. It's just well, it isn't a good combination. Oh yeah, green and purple. You know, Rose's ships are almost green and purple instead of red and black. What does the red look like on this? Instead of the orange, bad orange. I think this is probably what you were initially wanting. There you go. These are two pretty strong contenders. What are your thoughts? Porcelain. Interesting thought. Anthrax, darling. Rearranged. Then just turn the red white. Goodness. I mean, so this, I don't much see the appeal of this, but like, this is probably closest to what you're describing, I would say. Black. Black. I'm still getting watermelon vibes. Like, I know you want chili, but all I can see is watermelon. Let's try inverting them. Because there is predominantly more of the highlight color than the lesser color. So if it looks... yeah, I think that's probably closest to what you were wanting. with those being like the stems, if that makes any sense. That's what I would think. I don't know about the pure black. I think that the dark red was doing it more favors. And here I am, like the minority. I still think this one's the best. I'm gonna get rid of that one because you weren't interested. Didn't say anything about it. So cool. Love this color scheme. Love this ship. Fantastic work. You should commission me more often. I really like painting these ships. And given the orange might be a little bit intense. Well, didn't you say anything? Okay, I'm just gonna save them. Because it's Hyper Light Drifter. And because I've painted other ships in the same color, or something very similar to it. It is a good color combination. Like, I've seen it all over the place, and for good reason. Like, Hyper Light Drifter. That's another good one. I'm not a fan of the Drifter name. I'm gonna come up with something better. Hyperlight? Hardlight. Yes, Hardlight. That is something I'm going to be naming my own chip at some point. Because Hardlight is one of the coolest terms to say out there. That is... Hardlight is used in Tron as like the light cycle trails. But the reason I was naming it that is because in Hyper Light Drifter, your sword is made of Hardlight. Which is what the colors were based off of for the first one, for the most part. There's no way you actually know that without reading outside of source material, though. Well, Luke, in experience... I'll take your word for it, but I haven't experienced much Hardlight, and I would love to have more Hardlight in my life. One of the more prolific or ancient players of Space Cat just has like 4 versions of each ship with different paint schemes each. Okay, let's see what Eidolon does with this blue and orange paint scheme, because I just can't get enough of it. Hmm. Not working out. Better alternative. Vermilion. Vermilion's a better alternative. Hmm. I think that the ratio is very important on this ship, where you need a lot more cyan than orange, because orange cannot carry by itself, which you're seeing in this ship because it is suffering from that. Blue and orange is the best combination out there. It's the most iconic you can get. Your slanderous words hurt me. Anthrax, I sent you all of them. You don't have to pick between each of them. Like, see, look at this. This is divine. I will accept no contrary opinions. Nothing of the sort. Ah, I love this ship. It's not that good, but I do love it. One of my favorites. Excuse me? Wow, they're really... I thought the new decal would have been added in the time I've painted that would fix that. Oils to bear is hard. For this ship, these sections on, like, the ions, I guess? Or these on the outer edges? Hmm. Well, I am in love with this sunset paint job where they all blend together. But yeah, this is testament to a good paint job, is that if it fits with multiple color schemes, it is one of the defining traits, I would go so far as to say. And for somebody to get an artisan vote on Excelsior from me, is it has to pass this test where you just exchange colors and it still works out. Yeah, I've always loved this paint job. One of my better ones. And I honestly, I can just mess with this stuff for a long time. Like, it's so much fun to mess with the finished paint job. Or I thought what was the finished paint job. Ay, ay, ay. This is also another very drifty. Is there a term that refers to hyperlight drifter genre? I think drift punk is something that only I have said, and thus it's not a good descriptor. Similar, different. Similar but different. Well, I suppose for the sake of our discussion both, but specifically the aesthetic. Really? Not sure what else you would attribute it to then. Because Hyperlight Drifter is iconic. It's one of the best examples in my mind of making something iconic. To stars? Interesting thought, I guess. Oh, let's see. Yes, I'm a big fan of the rose gold coloring. I was just messing with paint jobs. Or paint schemes. Because, you know, it's fun to mess with them. Hey, Anthrax, what are your thoughts on this one? You don't have anything? This bottom one. Bottom left. You know, I should probably make a workshop poster such with all my color schemes. Because, I mean, this seems to be very popular. I also painted this, by the way, viewer. If you were interested remotely. See. I used to have issues with Hyperlight Drifter, but the more I think about it, the more I want to just replay it, and like how the issues have not kept up with my memory at all. Issue with porting paint jobs to glitter and gold is that it has a unique paint job. Best of luck to you then, Anthrax. Not too bad. I don't know if it's preferable though. Yes, that was something that the original client was very happy with. I mean, I would vouch for you if it meant anything, but I mean, it largely doesn't, so... So take that for what you will. So... I'm gonna put this here. That there, so for a proper paint save, and Salif seems to have decided on what he wants, so let's start taking a stab at that. Now, it's interesting, because Salif's was a desire to have pipes, and piping is not something that I'm used to, because piping is generally a subsidiary part of a given ship's paint job. It is not the main appeal, you know. Salif's also didn't tell me what colors he wanted. Ships already. I mean, it's all grayscale, Salif's. Oh no. It's all grayscale. So I'm not... Yes, Salif's won the tournament and this is the paint job that he earned. The issue is that his requests are strange. So do you... Alright. Let's see. So Salif's has gone above and beyond and has now requested something that I've never done before. Good for him, of course. What do you mean, worse than yours? Because Anthrax, you requested something that I would say is pretty conventionally vanilla. Are you familiar with Mindustry? Yes, so I'm pretty sure the thought process was to have the styling be that of Ministry, and that there is supposed to be texture based on the color, like the shadows are coming from the left side and the casting on the right side. However, I have never done this before, so it shall be very interesting, I'll say. It'll take me a brief moment to get accustomed to it and such. Which you could probably tell from the speed which I'm going at, which is much slower. You see, I am decent at doing new things, but it does take me some time to start getting accommodated. What I really should be doing is setting up this. For reference, dear viewer, when you do this masking, it makes it a lot simpler to deal with things. And instead of worrying about how the edges of the ship interact and such, you just, it's just black. It's just all black. Which is, significantly easier to deal with typically. And in this context, where the shadows matter very much, this is going to be preferable by a large margin. So I definitely recommend the newer painters do this and over, like, trying to incorporate the edges of your ship into the paint job. Of course, experimentation when you can, but, I don't advise trying to do anything. I advise doing this instead. If anybody is, of course, wanting to learn or such. Oh no, in a certain sense, you shouldn't learn. You should just hire me to paint for you. But that is a silly take, for it is better to have everybody learning, such that I am no longer necessary in a certain sense. So, I mean, considering, as the mask says, of course. Pretty good, kid, pretty good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see? Yes, probably. All sorts of things are possible. It ultimately depends on execution and your competence in the execution. I think you can get away with most anything you want if you do it well enough. Basically the basis for a lot of paint. Please, do share those quotes, I don't mind. So I mean, it's like, I make tutorials, so it's Hmm. I'm not too sure about the color choices, Salves. I hope you take that personally. The following Mindustry, which I mean, I'm just doing that now. I'm not. Here's what Salves wants. I'm doing Mindustry. Oh, there's not much in between there. There we go. Now I can just, paint. Actually, you know what? This is just gonna be shadows. There's nothing you can do about it. It's shadows now. It doesn't exist. How do I want to set up the rails? That's an interesting question. Are they technically higher or are they technically lower? Okay. Wonder. This is not gonna work out, but this is technically cheating. how this gonna work out. Not gonna try and get it. Wow, that music is interesting. I don't know. What did you just do? Yes, I did. That's for the sake of music, which was supposed to be changing. Because this song grates. Not a fan of this song. I discovered it by accident. It's not tiling properly. um... but it is though. This is bizarre. Yeah, I'm not too sure about this one, Silas. Gonna be honest. Never attribute to skill what could be lack of sleep. wise words from Salty Frost. Okay, this is looking a bit better, this particular segment. That is definitely an oh dear. Yeah, Salus, it just makes it look as though, it's like a saw or something. Oh, I don't know how that mirrors over though, because like this is just a bottom part. Um, like it's a gap in the thing, so like it would be on the bottoms. It'd still be on the bottom side over here, though. I don't know. Salve's eyes, I'm not sure about it. Guess so. It was necessary. Which decal? There are several third decals. I'm glad that I'm inspiring you. I like inspiring people. Even if it's a negative inspiration. I hope I was entertaining then. Sounds like it might be a little bit of a mess trying to just listen to me say nothing for an extended amount of time. I yearn to one day be constantly entertaining in a fashion that other people can appreciate, because like it's just like me being silent, alone, with ships. Like I'm pretty sure that's not ideal, that's not like professional or whatever. Which is what I ultimately desire to get to at one point. I'm your guess is as good as mine. Why, thank you. Well, I'm glad that the paint scheme's been working out, Antac. It's been going better than Salith's ship. I feel like this style requires that you do it on smaller objects. Like, the largest ship in Mindustry is like, or the largest sprite is gonna be like equivalent to this in size. Or like the Toxipid or Eclipse. This is 4 times that size, and most of the blocks are like as large as this large shield, like at most. I don't think it scales super well. Anyhow, I'm developing a headache, which is always a problem, so I'm gonna go. So have a nice day.